and if the remodel was worthwhile in the cost, since I know now that the other departments and other offices are wanting to cut back on employees and different things of that nature.
As far as the cost goes for the remodeling, I actually don't have a figure on that, but Nancy would probably be able to tell you that. I know we've spent some of the things that we've gotten are a little outrageous. We've got like a $300 coat rack, and our bookshelves, I know they cost about $15,000. And I want to say our Whitmer stuff was probably about $38,000, but I'm not actually sure on that. And that was some of the furniture we already had, plus they added some other furniture to our office. And as far as the countertop goes, I don't know what that is, but we also had electrical done, and that was a charge on that. And the painting, I'm not sure about that. I know the carpet was free, so that didn't cost anything. And I don't know what your other question was.
As I'm sure you're well aware, Billy, the county has a program of shared savings, and they kept the money tied up for some time. They released it. And if we were going to do any remodeling and updating, the recorder's office was the only office that hadn't been done. It's been over 30 years since anything had been done. We had peeling paint coming off the walls. It didn't look like professional office when you walked in. That's why I really hope that you will come in and look and see what we've done. I got an estimate on how much it would cost to have the counter that we have cut down. So the 2 inches, so we could eliminate the safety hazard for my staff. It was going to cost more to have that one cut down than to buy a brand new one. So obviously, the only thing you could do would be to buy the brand new one, is what made sense to me. I don't have a final figure, but I can tell you that we didn't go extravagant on anything. The shelves that warehouse the books are sturdy. They hold them. I don't know if you heard, but when we moved the books out into the hallway on the old rickety racks, that one of them did fall, and we were very fortunate that neither one of the young men that were moving the books for us was seriously hurt. So we don't have to worry about that problem now. We have enough shelving in there that we no longer have our old archived books sitting on registers as a fire hazard. And again, I have pictures that I'd be more than happy for you to come in and see of what it looked like prior to the remodeling. And, you know, later, if you want to check with me when we get all the bills in, I'll be more than happy to share those. They're public record anyway.
Wasn't there an estimate that you had to get approved first, or is that you could just give, per diem, whatever?
We had to get estimates, of course. I am not going to give a figure that is bogus. I know we added to the painting. So, you know, if I tell you one figure and it comes in higher at that, then you're going to say that I was trying to undercut it, and I won't do that. But believe me, I'll let you know as soon as I find out.
I took a trip to Elkhart, Indiana today. Elkhart's a place that has lost jobs faster than anywhere else in America. In fact, local TV stations have started running public service announcements that tell people where to find food banks, even as the food banks don't have enough to meet the demand.
The candidates for the 10th Circuit Judge, that will be Christopher J. Spanos and John P. Vespa. If you two will make your way up.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, to have this opportunity to speak to you. I see a lot of new faces that I haven't seen before. A little bit about me. I grew up about an hour north of here. I went to a little bitty school. And in 1983, after a couple of years at junior college, I joined the Navy. I spent 5 years in the military, and most of that time on a fast attack submarine, believe it or not. When I got out of the Navy in 1988, I went to Illinois State University, where I graduated with a degree in finance. I worked 3 jobs to put myself through school, both before and after the Navy. I then had the privilege of meeting and marrying a farmer's daughter from rural Tazewell County, who's with us here tonight. After a couple years of marriage and working putting some money away, we went off to law school together. She's a teacher, and she put me through law school for 3 years, helped me get through. So in 1995, graduated from law school in the top 10% of my class, and then came back here to the Peoria area. I've been working in the Peoria area for most of that, almost 16 years now. I'm a trial lawyer. I've been trying cases since I think my first trial was in 1996. I've also been very active in the community. I've been on the Fire and Police Commission. I've been on the school board, just recently stepped down as president of the school board so that I could complete my campaign. I got into this race about a year ago because some people told me they thought I would be a good judge. So I did some survey, I did some conversations, I talked to some folks, and I came to the conclusion that this was what I wanted to do. And the reason that I want to do it is because I'm very committed to giving back to the community. I think this is an opportunity for me as a lawyer to take what it is and something that I think I do well and give back to the community, to make our community a better place. I firmly believe that a judge should be first knowledgeable of the law, but right alongside of that, be fair to everybody. Everybody gets treated the same regardless of where they come from or who they are. And a judge needs to be strong at times, at other times needs to be compassionate, and probably most of all, needs to have the good common sense to know the difference between the two. I look forward to answering your questions. I thank you all for listening, and hope to get to talk to you again in a few minutes. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm John Vespa. I'm also running for circuit judge. I'm born and raised here in Peoria. Graduated from Franklin Grade School, Peoria High School, class of 75. I'm a former police officer right here in Peoria. In fact, I grew up on Columbia Terrace. Just go up the hill a little bit, Western Main Street, Columbia Terrace, 711 West Columbia Terrace is where I grew up. I had a half a block walk to Franklin, 4-block walk to Central. Like I say, I used to be a police officer. I've got extensive trial experience in both areas of the law, both civil and criminal. I founded the LAMP program. LAMP is an acronym for Legal Assistance to Military People. That is an organization where lawyers who are members of the Peoria County Bar Association step forward and give free legal service to military members and their families. When the military member has gone overseas, the family can take a heavy financial hit. They'll have creditors knocking at the door. That's where the LAMP program comes in. I founded that and was its director from 2002 to 2007. The family I grew up in, my dad was a welder at CAP. He went to manual, did not even graduate from high school. He was a welder at CAP, loaded trucks at the Journal-Star to put a roof over our heads. Go find 711 West Columbia Terrace. You'll see the house I grew up in. That's the middle of Columbia Terrace, not the big beautiful houses on the two ends of Columbia Terrace. But he put a roof over our heads and succeeded in raising some good kids anyway. At least 3 out of the 4 kids he has. So don't forget to vote on November 2nd, and thank you very much for listening to me.
Question to both. I'm in your courtroom, and I'm the defendant. How will that process go, irregardless of the charge or whatever else may be the circumstances? What's it like a day in your courtroom?
One of the things a judge must do is help people get through the system. A lot of my answer to your question depends on whether you have a lawyer. Let's say you do not have a lawyer, so you're even more scared. It's up to a judge to make sure your constitutional rights are protected. The Illinois and United States Constitution gives you rights. It's not up to the judge to give you the rights. It's up to the judge to protect you in that courtroom, make sure your rights are observed, and help you and others who come into his courtroom make it through the system.
Like so many questions, I guess the answer is it depends. It depends on whether you're a civil defendant or a criminal defendant. It depends on what type of case it is, I suppose. But regardless of any of those things, John's right, you have to make sure that your rights are protected. The problem is that a judge is not your lawyer. So the judge isn't able to give even a pro se defendant legal advice. Now, the judge should make sure that the person has every opportunity to obtain a lawyer, provide them with an opportunity to get a lawyer, make sure that they have all the legal advice that they can get. And if that person decides to proceed pro se, then a judge needs to make sure that that person has every opportunity to be heard Frankly, in most cases, the judge will lean a little further than they normally would when there's a represented client to ensure that that person's rights are protected. But at the end of the day, the judge is there to ensure that the law is applied fairly to every person before that courtroom, regardless of whether they're represented by an attorney or not represented by an attorney. The judge is the umpire. The judge calls balls and strikes. The judge makes sure that regardless of what happens, that every person is treated the same, is fairly treated, and that the law is applied correctly. Thanks.
My question is for both of you. I heard Mr. Spanos says that the judge's responsibility is to protect the rights of the defendant. If it seems like to me that in Peoria County, too many of our young people are pushed up from juvenile court into adult court, and you know, people say that their cognitive thinking isn't in place and they're being tried as adults when they're actually not mentally adults. Do you have any ability to send that back down to like juvenile court, or is that something that's not under your jurisdiction?